What's up, everybody? Let's talk about practicing your knees with Thigh pads, right? So we use Fairtex, but there's a lot of brands out there nowadays. There's an enormous. These Thigh pads I think are about 15 years old, and we've used them religiously for 15 years. And they're, other than some cracking and some I guess maybe the ink going away, a little bit of weathering from use, they're actually in remarkable condition. So that says a lot about the Fairtex brand in particular. So this is a great routine that you can do, a neat way to be able to work with a partner. It's important that you understand that in this case, he's lending me his body and his support as a training partner, right? So if you don't have a teardrop bag or whatever, you can't take a teardrop bag and move a teardrop bag around, right? So if I'm working on the clinch and I want to work on movements, it's a little bit harder to do. So respect your partner. As always, treat your partner the way you'd want to be treated, right? That whole golden rule of MMA also comes from the Bible and the New Testament. But really what I want to do is I want to treat him with ultimate respect. I don't want him to get hurt in this process. So we're going to build up into that. And also be mindful, if you're stronger than your partner, or you hit or knee or kick much stronger than your partner, don't abuse them, okay? I remember years ago I was training with a guy, and he could kick like a mule, and I'm not kidding, like literally with an enormous amount of power. And I used to use Thigh pads, and I'd strap them on really well, and I'd get into position, and we'd do some basic training routines for building stamina. And by the time I was done, for example, we did a pyramid where you start out 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, and you work your way down until you get your last Thigh kick on either side. And by the time I was done, first of all, I was exhausted because the amount of pressure I'm having to absorb. And then by the end of it, the next day, man, I was bruised. I mean, we're talking Thigh pads, these Thigh pads. And I would have bruising all along my arms. That's how hard the guy kicked. So if you're working with somebody who's really competent and very powerful, man, be respectful to your partner, especially if they're thinner or have less muscle or they're not as strong as you are. Man, don't do it, okay? I mean, in this case, I don't want to cause him any damage. I'll build up to it, and maybe every third or fourth knee, I'll put some real power into it with him. And you'll build that rapport with your partner, and you'll be able to figure out what works. Like I said, just don't abuse your partners. It's really important. And this is one of those that can happen. Anytime you're working the Thigh pads, you can end up abusing your partner. So you can see that the bottom one comes down here. If you're working with a partner who has less control or is new at this, you might want to wear a groin protector or a belly protector, okay, because that'll help mitigate any potential risk. And then here, the bottom one comes across, comes right into the belly. The next one comes down. You might have to move that around a little bit to work with them, because in my case, I'm not as tall as some other partners. If you're really tall, you might have to modify it a little bit too. And when I'm grabbing the neck, okay, so from here, I'm not going to grab him here. Yes, we know this is where we go, okay? This is what I'm looking for in a clinch when I'm working my knees. However, I'm not trying to abuse him again, right? So I'll just grab around the neck here. Sometimes I'll grab around the shoulders, and it's just for me to be able to work him. So nice and loose on the back of the neck, and he can pop his head up, or you know, he doesn't have to force him down anymore. He can actually stay a little bit like this as we're working it. And the first knee comes in and hits. Maybe I'll do another knee, that kind of thing. And so it's just, right? You don't have to abuse them. Like I said, this is just for practice. This is a great way to be able to get out there, work your knees, work on your stamina, work on your target acquisition, move him around, move his head, that kind of thing. And as long as you work and you build that rapport with your partner, it's a great way to do it. So try it out.